with the whole band, Blodtåke. How are you guys?
Hi there. Thanks for having us.
So who are we speaking with today?
Yeah, you're speaking with Sasha. I'm the guitarist in Blodtåke.
My name is Manuel. I'm doing the vocals.
And I'm Daniel. I'm the drummer. Hi there.
Hey, what's up? All right. So, you already told me your band names. Could you tell me who all the members are of the band and how you became a band?
Yeah, we are basically a 5-piece band. Adding to the 3 guys that are online right now, there's also our female guitarist, Esra, who is also joining us, but she has no microphone, so she cannot talk right now. And our bassist, Thorsten, who's also online right now and listening to this cast. We became a band, basically it all started in 2014 as a project that I started with a friend of mine. And somewhere around 2016 I was in a different band and I felt very limited by the style that band had. And also I wasn't able so much to contribute new music. And I thought it would be a good idea to revive the project and make Blodtåke a real band. And that's when we started to look for members. And somewhere around, I think 2016, 2017, it all came together when Manuel and Daniel joined the band. And since then, we reworked most of the songs that we had. We wrote a lot of new music, and about 3 years ago, we started writing the material and reworking the material for our current album, our debut album, and it came out about a year ago. So that's basically the story so far.
That's cool. So what is the name of the album? And like you said, it was released about a year ago. What was that like when you released the album?
The name of the album is Nativity of Ashes, and it was released in early 2019. And we celebrated it in a release party in the mighty Helvete Metal Club. It's in Oberhausen. It's close to our origin cities. And we played the full album there. It was such a great experience to see all the people reacting to the songs, and we were overwhelmed by the reactions of the crowd.
That's awesome. I bet you had a great time. Now, I didn't ask before, where are you guys located, and, what's the music scene like where you are?
Well, we're coming from Oberhausen, or we are located in Oberhausen, basically, which is in North Rhine-Westphalia. There's a very strong music scene, and luckily there are very many clubs here around that area where you can still play metal music. But at the same time, of course, there's also a different event every night in every club, so it's a constant fight for attention, if you will. And but at the same time, it's a very strong scene here, and the people are very enthusiastic regarding heavy metal music. And if you enjoy heavy metal music, there's nearly every weekend a club show or a bigger concert that you can go to. And even the underground is very strong. There are lots of bands, lots of new output, new albums every week, and it's a great scene to be around.
That's amazing. And do they love black metal?
Yeah, sort of. I think there's all kinds of metalheads here in the Ruhrgebiet area. A lot of them are into thrash metal very much because of Sodom and like Destruction. That's very strong in this area. But there are some very enthusiastic black metal fans too. I think the scene has been waiting for black metal to gather more attention. Yeah, and it's also such a diverse genre by now. I think when the whole black metal scene started, it was really a rather one-sided thing at first, because it wanted to be exactly the opposite of the existing genres. But by now, I think there's so many different styles that are influencing black metal that has become a whole other scene, and it's great to be part of that.
It's amazing. All right, well, we're going to take a break here and listen to your first track. Here's Bleak as the Light. Crank it up. Yeah, I have to say that's an awesome track. Can you tell us about that track, please?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Grace, yeah, that track is, Bleakest the Light is the first one from the album Nativity of Ashes, and it pretty much describes the demons living in your own house. As we know, you're most vulnerable and dependent when you're a child, and there are so many parents out there that seem to be, obsessed somehow, like drugs or alcohol, or they are completely, consumed by their own mental problems their kids have to suffer from. So, to me, it's the perfect opening track, because the song is about demons and the suffering from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's so much of that even going on right now in the world. It's crazy, and it's kind of a perfect track. So, who are some of your influences, Lee?
I love bands that sound real, like, as a singer, the vocals to me are very important. That's why I like bands like Amen-Ra or Harakiri for the Sky, because I totally believe that the singers mean and feel every fucking word they say. So bands like these I like a lot.
That's cool. Now, how did you learn how to sing? Did you, grow up singing, or,
It was more a party accident. When I had too much beer. No, I'm just kidding. It was when I was 18, and I was listening to a song, and some guy who was invited at the same party said, "Man, because I was singing that song. I mean, I don't know what it was. I think it was a song from Tiamat." And he said, "Well, you have to come over to our band practice. We are searching for a new singer," and that's how my career started.
So what about everybody else?
Oh well, there's so many influences in the band. I think the name Blodtåke also shows that we, to a certain degree, we bow down to the first and second wave of black metal bands, and a bit of the Norwegian black metal scene. That's something that we really like. And but I say our influences didn't just stop there. There's over the years we developed a more delicate taste in music. And for instance, I've been listening to a lot of doom and death metal bands or prog bands, post-black metal. Like Manuel said, Harakiri for the Sky are a big influence. And I think whenever you write new music, your influences will show in one way or another. So some people even made out the fine sprinkles of Catatonia and Opeth style melodies that we have in our music, and compared us to their older endeavors. So that is a big compliment for us. But I think everyone in the band has their own influences and tries to keep them not just for themselves, but implemented in the music.
That's amazing. I mean, you guys are very good together, so I can actually see that. Kind of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where did the name Blodtåke come from?
That's an effect that can occur when, for instance, a hunter chases down his prey, or when a murderer goes on a killing spree. That's when the individual loses his senses and is in an static, manic trance, and isn't really responsible for what he or she is doing. So that is what we want to achieve with this band. We want for us to be in that trance when we are on stage and performing the songs, but also we want to invite the listeners to lose themselves in our music. And it doesn't matter if you're headbanging, if you have your eyes closed listening to the music. We just want the listeners to enjoy the music that we do, and also to feel the emotions that we put into the songs. So that's where also the name comes from. And it translates to Blodtåke, which is sounding cool also, I speak in English. So Blodtåke is basically Blodtåke in English. It's a Norwegian word.
So you're saying bloodfuck, correct? I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing that correctly.
Yeah, Blodtåke, like a cloud of blood.
Nice. I bet you that's tasty.
Nice, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to check out your next track here. Here's Lyso More Cats. Crank it up. I like that track. That's pretty cool. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, thank you. The song deals with, let me say, the cruel and violent grimaces of humans. Things like killing and raping women or murdering children pretty often in the name of religion has been the inspiration for the song. I mean, there are so many war crimes out there and sad but real pictures we have to face, and they are really quite hard to deal with, but that has been the inspiration for that song.
That's cool. Now, are you guys currently in the studio or, practicing, or do you have any new projects in the works right now with everything going on?
Well, that's an interesting question, because due to the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, that crashed our summer festival plans for this year. We were scheduled to play 3 summer festival shows, all of which have been delayed now until next year. So I took a couple of weeks and wrote some demos, and now we're all working on the new material since we can get back together as a band and meet up at the rehearsal space again. And we are all working on the new material to further develop it, to make it our own, and everybody has their say in the music, and so we develop it as a band. And that's working great for us, and that's a good chance for us to have new material ready when we play the festivals, hopefully next year. And right now I think it's safe to say we're about pretty deep into 3 of the new songs, like editing, rearranging, adding, subtracting stuff, building the tensions, and most importantly, exploring our emotions towards the new music and how to let it flow into the music. And we're about another 3 or 4 demos in on the horizon, and we will probably take the rest of the year to develop and have a chance for recording the second album, hopefully next year, and also play the shows that we missed in the summer, and maybe a little club show here and there in the winter months. So I hope we will get pretty busy at the end of the year again.
I hope so too, but also good things come to those who wait, so maybe this will be even better for you because you are able to take your time with it and get it to the way you want it to be.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's a shame that everyone's not being able to go to shows like that. And, it's really important to be out at shows and to have shows and support your local music.
Yeah, and I think people miss their outlet. Everybody's reacting differently to that. We have even some festival organizations that say, let's do the festival in September. And they changed the date to September. Probably most of them will fall flat and will not happen this year. But there's still some people having hope for a late summer festival season. I don't see it on the horizon, unfortunately.
Well, I just hope it gets better for everyone.
Yeah.
So as a band, what have your struggles been, and what do you suggest for any bands out there?
Let me answer this. My suggestion for bands is to forget about boundaries. I mean, if you're a rock or metal band, it's about being different and being unorthodox, so to say. I mean, if you like black metal music, but you're tired of that Satan worship thing, don't make it your topic. One person I know is completely aware that that religion is absolute bullshit, so you don't have to be band number 9 billion that is writing about that in each and every song. So to me, black metal is about, the real blackness. A lot more darkness in this world, and humanity is, we say, the shame of creation. We are going to wreck a whole planet, leaving nothing but dust in the end. So it's about the fact that greed will always triumph over charity, and about the fact that there is nothing more evil in this world than us, including Blodtåke, of course. And yeah, you're fucking evil too, Grace.
And same to you. Take your blood clots and go. So who writes your music and your lyrics?
Basically, there's always a basic idea that comes up. In most cases, it is Groven or Sasha who comes up with a new riff or hook line. and sometimes he already presents a demo track with almost perfectly recorded instruments from his home studio. So he makes it very easy to the rest of us to develop an entire song out of it by putting in our individual creativity. So, but it depends. We do have some jam sessions from time to time, especially in this pandemic situation right now, when we have some more time to not prepare for gigs, but to concentrate on our inner creativity, and our creative minds are Sasha and Manuel, of course, because the heart of the music comes from Sasha, and the heart of the sense of the lyrics is created by Manuel. And we do have our spaces to create the environment around this creative core.
Well, the interesting thing is you've listened to Lizzie Merkett before, and that was one of the first songs ever written for Blodtåke. It was from the project phase, even before we came together as a band, and we didn't change too much on the arrangement or the guitars or the bass, but just having Manuel and Daniel do their thing on the music completely changed the song. And if you would listen to the demo and to the final track that we've recorded, there's so much more of the magic of a band happening there. It's just people coming together, and we have a structure, and we jam on that structure. We develop our parts, and everybody has their say. And I think that's a very satisfying thing as a musician. When everybody can bring in their input or has their say. Does that part work? Does that part bring across the emotions that I want to bring across? And that's, I think, the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in a band. And it's much more for me personally, much more than music. It's working with friends and working with like-minded individuals, and that is really important for me. That's the most satisfying thing about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Well, if you agree to disagree, then you'll all have a problem. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll work through that, I think.
I was going to ask how you all got along.
Oh, it's. I think it's the most satisfying band I've ever played in, and I consider everyone in this band a close friend. And we really, it's not just like we really enjoy to make music together, but when we're heading out for a festival show and we're spending the days there, preparing for the performance, camping, and it's such a great time that we have, and we really enjoy each other's company. So we have the same sick humor, so that's perfect. That's the greatest time of the year, being together as a band.
That sounds like a good making for a good party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's
Definitely.
What's it like for you to be Blodtåke when on stage?
Well, we've started to develop a different kind of beast. In the beginning we were just on stage, and we were all pretty much into our personal space on stage. But right now we do a little bit of, not like corpse paint, but we take on some blood face paint at the moment. And we really try to get into the music as a band, and on stage it feels really good. With different stage manners, of course. There's people that are more like I'm staring into the crowd and have a bit of a creepy feel, like Esther always does. She's our queen on the right side of the stage with an evil overlook of the crowd. And Manuel and I, we choose to headbang a lot. So it feels great to be on stage together. And I hope there's a lot of movement when we hopefully hit the bigger stages next year of the festival.
Maybe,
to get the crowd going and stuff.
Maybe you guys can all practice, do like a group meeting and you guys can all headbang to practice.
Yeah, that sometimes happens spontaneously,
Yeah. So do you have a memorable moment, while playing live at a club, festival, etc.?
I have some very fond memories of people, coming after the show, speaking to us. And I think whenever someone comes to you and tells, that moment really moved me, or that song really moved me, or I had this goosebump moment where somebody I haven't met in a lot of years that was at a show we played, came across and said, that part reminded me of Catatonia, one of my complete favorite bands, and we never obviously put anything that was like Catatonia into the songs, like obviously. And that really was very important to me. And I think what Daniel said in the beginning, the release show for our debut album, that was a completely magical moment. It was the lights were on spot, the sound was on spot, the people had a great time, we shared the stage with great bands. We had great opening bands there playing, and it was a completely out of this world evening. And to finally have the people listen to the album that we've worked on almost for 2 years, to finally have it out, to have them appreciate the physical copy of the music. We have like a 3-panel digipack, and there was really a lot of work that Manuel put into the artwork of the CD. And in that moment, it all came together. It was awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. And you did the artwork? That's amazing, because it's very cool, the artwork.
Yeah. Manuel put so much time into that.
I can imagine. It's really good.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any music videos out? And if so, for which tracks?
We recently released a video for the song Off Me and You. We used some really, let's say, atmospheric pictures in that one, so maybe you can check it out then, if you haven't seen it already. It's great to watch.
I actually haven't seen it, so I'll definitely be checking it out, and I'll make sure I share it.
You need to do that.
I'll share it with everyone.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to check out your last track. Here's Follower. Crank it up. That's a perfect track. I have to say that. It's very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell us about that one, please?
Follower is a really, heavy track. It marks the beginning of the second half of the album, so to speak. And it deals with the confusion that is in my head all the time. It's a pretty personal song. I mean, I'm 40 years old now, and I've seen a lot of things I didn't want to see in myself, and of course in others. And over the years, I've learned that the most terrible things don't lose their terror, but they astonish you less, when you're growing older. And it seems like a gift and a poison at the same time, which you acquire over the years. You learn to illuminate the darkness better and better, so you will, how to describe it, you will see the demons in their ugliness in much more detail, I think. And even if they can no longer surprise you that much, they don't lose being ugly and scary.
Yep.
So in Follower, I also describe the wish to be one with another person, and in that song, I realized that only death can ensure that a loved one is well, my own death, so to say. At the same time, there's a strong will to remain forever with her and the fire. And it's a very emotional song. There are many pictures.
I'm going to have to listen to it again for a couple more times, and then I'll understand it. But it is a really cool track.
Thank you.
If there's one thing different you could do at the band, what would it be?
I thought about that for a while, since in other bands, sometimes you have you come to a spot or a point in time where you say, I would have done this differently, But in this case, I think we did it the right way, when we were writing the material at first and were developing it. There might have been a spot in time where I was very eager to get the material out, and there's sometimes a chance to release songs for people to listen to. Like somebody is collecting a sampler and asks you to be part of that sampler. And I was one of those guys, to say, let's do this and let's do that. And Manuel was always like very considerative or very considerate. And he's like, let's put the whole album out at once and let's make like one first impression that is really strong. And that is something I'm very proud that we did that, and that Manuel had this idea to bring the material out in a one piece, not to take part in every chance to release music, but to make a lasting first impression. That's something that I would suggest any other band to do too. So I think we did it the right way, and in retrospective, I was very wrong for trying to release bits of the material too early, because if you take your time, like you said in the beginning, if you take your time, good things come to those who wait. So that was an important lesson for me.
If you could travel anywhere as a band in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh, we would love to play the States and Central America for sure, because the metal audiences there, in the US and in Central America, they're very enthusiastic, and I think when you win their respect and attention and you give them a great performance, they will love you for the rest of their life. So that is something that we would really appreciate to do one day. And I think also visiting Scandinavia with our music would be great. There's not so much like this one festival in the world that we would love to play. Of course, there are the big ones here in Germany, like Wacken Open Air or the Summer Breeze Open Air, that would be really cool to play. But I think every country, every metal crowd that we play for, we want to not just explore the cities, we want to play for the people, and to really learn how the crowd of that respective country, the metal crowd, is enjoying music. That would be great. There's so much more out there in the world that we haven't seen yet. That would be just exciting to see.
I know when I've spoken with other bands before, they said they've traveled to different places, and it's different, definitely different depending on where you are and how the crowd reaction is, and it's kind of cool.
That's the cool thing, yeah.
Now, you did mention earlier when you did your album release, you played with some cool bands. Who were some of those bands that you played with?
Well, we had, for example, played with Impetuous. They're a pretty new band with one of the former singers that Daniel and I worked with in another band. They were releasing their first songs back then. There's a cool band from this area called Außerwelt that you should really check out. They're a post-black metal band. Really cool guys, and their music is very atmospheric. So that was pretty cool to play with those guys live. There's so many great bands from the underground scene right here. We shared the headliner spot with a band called Sons of a Wanted Man. That is a Belgian band, and they found a label recently and released their debut album that is brilliant too. And I think the bigger names probably that people would recognize even better. They are about to be playing with us hopefully next year when we have a chance to play the festivals that have been rescheduled for this year.
Awesome.
On this weekend, we normally would have played with for instance, Propane and Sodom on this weekend at the Arc Festival. So, it's a shame that we can't be there this weekend. But then again, we would have missed this great interview. So everything has its price.
It does. Now, have you played with Sodom before or no?
Not with Blodtåke.
Aw, man. I'm sorry that you missed it. They're awesome, too.
It will be next year.
Yes, it will be. So what are your social media sites, and where can people get your merchandise?
Of course, it's the obvious sites, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're on all that platforms. But I think the majority of the news and events we share through Facebook. And so that is a good place if you want to follow us or keep in touch with us as a band. Just look for Blodtåke, like Blodtake. And like Manuel said, we have a lot of new videos on YouTube. For most of the tracks of our album, we've released, lyric videos or performance videos. Music videos. One of which we did on Iceland, which is pretty cool, I think. And I think the most important aspect, if you want to keep in touch with the music or listen to the songs, you should go to blodtåke.bandcamp.com. This is where you can find all the merchandise if you want to support us, and you can find the album. And maybe if you want lower shipping rates on the physical copy of our CD, you can also hook up with our friends at the Canadian label Hypnotic Dirge Records. They got a limited amount of our physical CD copies left too. So that is a good way, I think, to save on the shipping rates, because they ship from Canada, and really great guys. So if you want a physical copy of the CD and you're coming from the US, just give them a call. Hypnotic Dirge Records.
So
great guys.
If I called them right now, would I be able to get the digipack as well, or is it just the CD right now?
I'm pretty sure you get the digital pack right now, the digipack. It's a 3-panel digipack with the extended artwork, and I think it looks beautiful. And they got a lot of copies that we sent them. I'm not quite sure how many of them are already sold, but they should have their fair share of CDs left.
All right.
And
I'll probably be contacting them today, actually.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. Is there anyone out there that you want to give a shout out to? Anyone special, or your record label? Anybody that you're endorsed by, or just anybody in general?
It would be a pleasure for me to say hi to Lucy SD from Metal is the Law. Lucy, thank you so much for supporting us from the very beginning. And a big cheers to our friend John McTighe. I don't know if you guys know him. He was really helping us to get known, especially in New York environment. And of course, thank you, Grace and Mike, for having us on your great show. And to all the listeners out there, thanks for taking the time. It was a pleasure to scream for you. Thanks for listening to Blodtåke.
All right. Can you give us a little scream?
No, my little son is sleeping next door.
Oh, okay.
Normally I could.
Oh, I would have loved that. But that's okay. You can always send it to me in a message. That'll work.
I will.
All right, everyone. I want to say thank you very much, and I'm so happy to have you guys here. And, you're welcome back anytime. Just let us know.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grace.
Infernal hails to all the black souls and rockers out there. This is Manuel from Blodtåke, and you're listening to the Thunderhead show on MetalDevastationRadio.com, where metal reigns supreme.